Okay, so we talked about multiplying radicals. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about dividing. Okay. We kind of have a rule when it comes to simplifying radicals and dividing that you can't leave a radical symbol in the denominator. Okay? We can't leave that symbol in the denominator. That's the bottom of the fraction. Okay? It's just kind of one of those unwritten rules in math. When it comes to simplifying, we don't like doing that. Okay, it's kind of like we always write polynomials from highest power down to lowest power. We go, x to the third minus 4x squared plus 7x minus 3. It looks better. Okay, so we just kind of do it that way. It's the same thing with radical symbols. We never leave a radical symbol in the denominator. Okay, so for example, if I had something along these lines, the square root of 4/3. Okay? The square root of 4/3. Looks a lot like the ones we were doing there right towards the end, okay, with the fractions. Okay? You still separate it. Square root of 4 divided by the square root of 3. Okay? You still do that. The top, that simplifies pretty nice. The square root of 4 is just how much? 2. Can you simplify the square root of 3? No, you can't. Square root of 3 is simply square root of 3. Okay? So for right now, what I have is 2 over the square root of 3. Okay? I have 2 over the square root of 3. Now, you can't necessarily simplify that any further, okay? But here we have a radical symbol in the denominator, okay? And it's one of those things that we don't want, okay? We don't like leaving our answers looking like this. We don't want that radical symbol in the denominator. So, what you do to get it out of there, okay, is you will actually multiply the top and bottom of this fraction by that radical. Okay, you will multiply the top and bottom. You got to do it to both because otherwise you're changing the value of the fraction. Okay, so what we'll do actually right here, and I'll try and see if the tools are working, and I'll do it in red so you can kind of see what we're adding in a sense to it. Okay, we're going to multiply the top and the bottom of the fraction by the square root of 3. That will help us get rid of the radical in the denominator. And I'll show you how as we continue to simplify it here. Okay? Yeah, Joe.
Never mind.
That's all right. Okay? So, 2 times the square root of 3. I can't multiply that 2 and that 3 together because this 2 is on just a normal 2, okay, and this 3 is underneath the radical. So when I take 2 times the square root of 3, I simply get 2 square roots of 3. So 2 times the square root of 3. I just write them right next to each other. It's like saying, what's 2 times x? 2x. Okay? What's 2 times the square root of 3? 2 square roots of 3. Okay? You can't do anything more with that. Now on the bottom, what's the square root of 3 times the square root of 3 going to equal? The square root of 9, right? Okay. Square root of 9. But wait a minute. What is the square root of 9? Just a nice normal 3. So I have 2 square roots of 3 on top and just a regular nice 3 on the bottom. And look at that. We've gotten the radical out of the denominator now. We don't have a square root symbol in the bottom of a fraction, so this is what our final answer would look like in that case. Okay? What questions do you guys have on that process there? That'll work every time, okay? if you had the square root of 7 down in the bottom, multiply the top and the bottom by the square root of 7. If you had the square root of 15, multiply the top and the bottom by the square root of 15. It does not matter what number it is, but just multiply the top and the bottom by that radical, and then when you simplify, you won't have that radical symbol in the denominator of your fraction anymore. Yes?
So, because this has happened in the past, we can't go any further to simplify that number. We can't say 3 and 3 are both.
Gotcha. Yeah, you can't cancel these 3's. Okay, it's a good question. All right, why can we not cancel? Why can't we just go cancel the 3's there?
Because one's squared, one's not.
They're not the same. They're not really 3's. Well, this one's a 3, but this one's a square root of 3, okay? One's under a radical, one's not. Perfect. Very good. Okay? So that's why you just leave it like that. Now, what if this number out here was a 3? The number in the front, if that was a 3. Then can we go like that? Cancel them? Absolutely, because they're both actually normal 3's. Okay? All right? That can happen. I don't know if it will in your practice or on the test, but it can happen. Okay? A lot of them will be similar to this. All right? I'll do another one here with you on dividing. This is one that's just going to be similar to what you'll see, I think, on your test. 2 divided by the square root of 5. This one, we'll just jump right into it. 2 divided by the square root of 5. Okay? Can I simplify that really at all? Can I simplify the square root of 5? No, because even if you did like your factor tree, it'd just be like a 5 and a 1, right? So you couldn't pull anything out. Okay? But can we leave our answer like this? Why not? You got a radical in the bottom. So therefore, what are we going to do to get the radical out of the bottom? Multiply them both by, not 5, but square root of 5. Yep, I think that's what you meant. All right, I think that's what you meant. But yeah, so I'm going to multiply the top and the bottom by the square root of 5. Okay? What do I get on the top? 2 square root of 5. Good job. What do I get on the bottom? Careful. Square root of 25, which would just be a 5. Can I skip that step and just put 5 here? Or do you want me to write square root of 25 and then change it to 5? You guys good with 5? Following me?
I'm good.
Okay? All right. So, kind of okay there with division? We'll do one more. I'll throw a variable in on division here. 7 divided by the square root of 3x. Doesn't change anything. Our process is still going to be the same. Chris, what do you think we're going to do first?
We're going to times it by radical 3.
Yep, square root of 3x. Yep, multiply the top and the bottom by the square root of 3x. What do I get on the top then, Ariane? You don't. 7 square root of 3x, right? Yep. You can't really multiply them together. So you have the 7 times the square root of 3x. And now let's see if you really got this now on the bottom. the square root of 3x times the square root of 3x would just equal just 3x.
Because then you got 3 times 3 times x.
Just 3x. Okay? The square root of 3x times the square root of 3x is just 3x. Square root of 850 times the square root of 850 is simply 850. Okay? You don't even really need a calculator. Alright? The square root of something times the square root of something is just something. Okay? Alright? So that's division. Okay on division? Alright?